The plane stalled, and the investigation showed the pilot was drunk. A medium shot tracks the ATR turboprop aircraft, cutting through a clear blue sky. White clouds drift below as the plane maintains steady altitude. The hum of engines is audible, steady, and rhythmic.
Flight 8,900, maintaining 8,000 feet. Estimated time to destination, 15 minutes.
Close-ups of instrument panels glowing with green and amber lights. The co-pilot, Leeway 32, focused, adjusts, controls. While checking reading, the captain, Wong Qiang, 45, sits in the left seat. His movements slightly sluggish. The camera pulls back to show the aircraft as a small, silver dot against the vast sky, heading steadily toward the distant airport.
Approach checklist complete. Runway 27 cleared for landing. Weather conditions are good. Visibility 10 kilometers.
Copy that. Runway looks clear from here.
Wong Kong nods, but his eyes are glassy, and he sways slightly in his seat. He fumbles with the throttle. Leeway glances at him with a flicker of concern, then returns his attention to the approach path visible through the windshield. Split screen. On one side, Leeway presses the gear deployment button. On the other, the landing gear slowly extends from beneath the fuselage, locking into place with audible clicks. The green gear down, and locked light illuminates.
Gear confirmed down. Flap set to 30 degrees as planned. Speed stable at 160. Rate of descent on target
2230.pm.pov. Captain drunk.
Just adjusting for the wind.
The aircraft descends smoothly toward the runway. The airspeed indicator shows a steady reduction from 220 kilometers per hour to 180 kilometers per hour, then to 160 kilometers per hour, within the normal range for final approach. Wong Kong reaches for the yoke, his hand unsteady. He pulls back slightly more than necessary. The airspeed begins to drop faster than intended, minus 150, 140. Wong Kong leans forward, squinting at the runway ahead. His breath carries a faint but distinct scent of alcohol, noticeable to Leeway, who wrinkles his nose slightly. Leeway's eyes dart between the airspeed indicator and Wong Qiang's face. He notices the captain's slurred speech and uncoordinated movements, and the smell of alcohol is now unmistakable.
Co-pilot, you're not fit to fly. Let me take control immediately.
I'm fine. I know what I'm doing.
He pulls back on the yoke again. The nose of the plane rises sharply. Airspeed plummets to 130 kilometers per hour, well below the safe minimum for the aircraft's configuration. The plane's nose tilts upward at an unnatural angle for final approach. The wings, struggling to generate lift at the low speed, begin to shake slightly. Wong Kong swats his hand away, his movements aggressive but clumsy. Inside the cabin, passengers visible through windows shift in their seats, some looking worried. A flight attendant 28 moves to the aisle to speak calmly into the intercom. The stall warning alarm blares. A loud, continuous beeping. Red warning lights flash across the panel.
Please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened. We are preparing for landing.
Stall imminent push forward on the yoke. Reduce pitch.
No. We need to climb.
Wong Kong, confused and disoriented, pulls back even harder. The aircraft's nose rises further. Airspeed drops to 120 kilometers per hour. The wings stop producing sufficient lift. The plane suddenly lurches downward, its nose dropping abruptly as the stall takes hold. It banks slightly to the left, drifting off the center line of the runway. Moderate intoxication occurs when the blood alcohol content back reaches. This condition causes significant impairments in coordination, balance, speech, and judgment. People who are moderately intoxicated often experience excessive euphoria, memory, impairment, mood swings, and an increased risk of aggressive behavior. Passengers cry out as the plane pitches violently, luggage shifts in overhead bins. Some small items fall to the floor. The flight attendant braces herself against the seat, her face pale but composed as she tries to reassure everyone. On the ground, air traffic controllers in the tower watch in horror, their hands flying to their radios.
Flight 8900. You are below glide slope. Correct immediately.
Head down, stay low, brace for impact.
Do you copy?
All passengers follow instructions, bending forward with their heads between their knees. The aircraft is now just meters above the ground, still in a stalled state. It skims across the grass beside the runway, its left wing catching the ground first with a shower of sparks and dirt. The plane spins sideways, its landing gear collapsing under the impact. The damaged aircraft continues to slide, its fuselage scraping along the ground. The left engine detaches, tumbling away from the plane. Fuel lines rupture, spilling fuel across the grass. Inside, the cabin fills with dust and the sound of metal twisting and tearing. The plane finally comes to a stop, crumpled against a small embankment just beyond the runway. Almost immediately, flames erupt from the ruptured fuel lines, engulfing the front and left sections of the fuselage. Emergency vehicles, fire trucks, ambulances, police cars race across the tarmac toward the crash site, their sirens wailing. Smoke billows into the clear sky.
这纯属意外，因为飞行员喝醉了，夫头咖过流。
In the chaos, one passenger, a young WOMAN-25, pulls herself free from a gap in the rear of the fuselage. Bloodied, but conscious, she stumbles a few steps before collapsing, rescued by arriving emergency workers. A sterile, well-lit room. Investigators from the Civil Aviation Administration sit around a large table covered with documents, photos of the crash site, and a model of the ATR aircraft.
Preliminary toxicology reports on Captain Wong. Confirmed blood alcohol content more than 3 times the legal limit for pilots. He had consumed large amounts of alcohol the night before the flight. Our recommendations will include stricter pre-flight screening protocols, mandatory breathalyzer tests for all crew, and enhanced training for crew members on how to respond when a colleague is unfit to operate an aircraft. The co-pilot attempted to intervene, but the captain refused to cede control. The unnecessary pitch-up led to a stall at critical altitude. There was no time to recover.
He points to the model, moving it to replicate the final approach path. A photo of the 7 victims is placed on the table. The room falls silent for a moment. The camera focuses on the model plane, then pans to a window overlooking the airport, where other aircraft take off and land safely. A reminder of the responsibility that comes with every flight.
I checked from the beginning. The pilot had strange movements.
I saw a big explosion and the sound was no joke. The plane was facing upwards and boom.
I found debris and glass from a vodka brand.
The pilot drank 2 sips of vodka.
I-8TC heard a heavy sound.
This script is a dramatic portrayal of the incident. In reality, aviation safety investigations are complex processes that aim to prevent future tragedies through identifying root causes and implementing targeted improvements to safety protocols. Now, drunk pilots have been eliminated.